refining volume last year. Several Palestinians are killed and others wounded by Israeli attacks in the southern Gaza Strip as it continues to violate the ceasefire agreement. And Russia launches a large-scale missile and drone attack on the Ukrainian capital Kyiv as trilateral talks continue for the second day in Abu Dhabi. Those were the headlines, and now the news in detail. OQ Refineries and Petroleum Industries achieved its first profit in its operational history last year, reflecting the efficiency of financial performance and operating assets during the past year. Here's a report.
To enhance its role as a driver of manufacturing and increased commercial value in the Sultanate of Oman, OQ Refineries and Petroleum Industries achieved outstanding operational performance last year, culminating in a series of record-breaking figures in crude oil refining and processing rates, as well as the production of petrochemical products. The company recorded its highest amount of crude oil refined in its history, reaching 93 million barrels. Additionally, in December, it achieved its highest monthly processing rate ever, totaling 8.37 million barrels, reflecting the high efficiency and operational reliability of its refining units. In the petrochemical sector, the annual production of polypropylene units reached approximately 317,000 metric tons, marking the highest annual production since operations began. Moreover, the production of OQ polymer exceeded 1 million tons during 2025, surpassing the target of 870,000 tons due to the early completion of routine maintenance works, improved asset management, efficiency, and increased readiness of production units. This performance comes in the context of OQ Refineries and Petroleum Industries' pivotal role within the integrated OQ system, as it serves as the bridge connecting energy production with final manufacturing industries. This enhances the economic value of every barrel and supports the transition from exporting crude oil to producing higher value added products. On the commercial front, OQ strengthens its presence in global markets by exporting its products to more than 80 countries worldwide. The company has built a vast network of over 3,000 business partners from energy, trade, and manufacturing sectors, reflecting international confidence in the quality of its products, enhancing the competitiveness of Omani exports, and supporting the flow of revenues from foreign markets to the national economy.
The Sultanate of Oman won the Emerging Tourist Destination Award for 2026 from the Kingdom of Spain. The Sultanate of Oman was chosen due to the diversity of the unique tourism product and multitude of travel experiences it offers, its balanced mix of historical heritage and cultural wealth, and the diversity of its natural landscapes, in addition to the firm commitment to a sustainable tourism model that respects its identity and aims to provide authentic experiences, as well as the tourism product and experiences that Sultanate of Oman offers that suits the Spanish tourists and meet their desires and aspirations. The total assets of Islamic banks and outlets at the end of November of last year amounted to approximately 9.3 billion Omani riyals, representing a percentage of the total assets of banking sector in the Sultanate of Oman and recording an increase of 12.3%. Data issued by the Central Bank of Oman indicated that the total balance of financing granted by units practicing this activity recorded an increase of 10.3%, reaching about 7.5 billion Omani riyals clarifying that deposits with Islamic banks and outlets witnessed an increase of 10.9%, reaching about 7.3 million Omani riyals by the end of November of last year. Three Palestinians were killed and others wounded by Israeli attacks in the southern Gaza Strip. The Palestinian Ministry of Health stated that the Israeli army targeted a group of Palestinians in the old Gaza Strip in the Jabalia area, with the shelling resulting in the death of one Palestinian and serious injuries to others. The ministry added that the Israeli army intensified its shooting operations against Palestinians within its areas of deployment east of Gaza City, while continuing its artillery shelling targeting the vicinity of Zaytun and Shujaiya neighborhood, which fall within the army's deployment zones. This comes as the Israeli occupation continues to violate the ceasefire agreement, despite the entry into the second phase of the agreement. Russia launched airstrikes targeting the Ukrainian capital Kyiv. Ukrainian authorities say that the Russian drone and missile attack targeted several areas in Kyiv, killing one person and seriously injuring more than 20 others. Authorities also reported that the other Russian airstrikes targeted the city of Kharkiv, causing widespread damage to several hospitals and residential buildings, injuring many and leaving some people trapped under the rubble. Meanwhile, the trilateral talks between Russia, Ukraine and the United States continue for the second day in a row in the UAE capital Abu Dhabi, with the aim of finding positive results that will continue to ending the nearly 4-year war. A NATO official confirmed that the alliance intends to significantly expand its stockpiles of weapons and ammunition along its eastern borders and establish a new defense zone using automated technology. From his part, the Deputy Chief of Staff Operations of Nations Land Command stated that the zone will be established that will rely heavily on surveillance in addition to remotely operated or semi-operated systems. He added that the civilians along the eastern borders will depend on systems that collect data on the ground, in the air, in space and in the digital realm, and that the information will be available to NATO allies in real time. U.S. authorities cancelled more than 8,000 flights as the snowstorm approached much of the country. The U.S. National Weather Service predicted that the storm's heavy snowfall would cause damage comparable to that of the hurricane. Forecasts also indicated that the storm would stretch from eastern Texas to North Carolina. In Indonesia, at least 7 people died and more than 80 were missing after a landslide in West Java province. The Indonesian Disaster Management Agency said that the landslide was caused by the continuous heavy rainfall in the region, adding that the death toll could rise in the coming hours. They warned residents to stay away from areas prone to landslides due to the ongoing rain. Still to come in our news bulletin. Adventure and excitement mark a 3rd edition of Extreme Bahla. Welcome back to the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. During the special session of the Human Rights Council on the situation in Iran, His Excellency Ambassador Idris bin Abdurrahman Al-Khanjari, the Sultanate of Oman permanent representative to the United Nations and other international organizations in Geneva, delivered a speech in which he said the Sultanate of Oman affirms its support for the work of the Human Rights Council and all its mechanisms as an important international framework for addressing human rights issues through constructive cooperation, responsible dialogue, and the exchange of expertise. He added that the Sultanate of Oman emphasizes that the Council's effectiveness is contingent upon maintaining an approach that respects the purposes and principles of the Charter of the United Nations, strengthen trust among countries, and ensures that human rights issues are addressed objectively in a balanced manner and without selectivity. He further added that the Sultanate of Oman believes that the respect for the sovereignty and national unity of countries and a firm commitment to the principle of non-interference in their internal affairs institutes a fundamental basis for the stability of the international order and are true guarantee against the politicization of human rights issues or their exploitation for purposes other than the noble humanitarian objectives. He emphasized that based on these principles, the Sultanate of Oman believes that the primary objective of the Human Rights Council's mechanisms, including the mandate of the Special Rapporteur, is to adhere to the professional framework for reporting that is grounded in the objectivity, independence, and impartiality, which is a pivotal element in preserving the Council's credibility and maintaining its standing as an international platform for balanced dialogue and cooperation based on trust and mutual respect. The Wilaya of Masirah is witnessing continuous development activities that include various sectors which contributes to providing high-level services there. The implementation projects such as multi-purpose port connecting the island to the main electricity grid, as well as water projects, social housing and others. As part of Bahla Winter 2026 program, the third edition of the Extreme Bahla got underway with strong public attendance and dynamic off-road performances, highlighting the growing appeal of adventure and sports and community events in the Wilaya. Here's more on this report.
Wadi Bahla came alive as the third edition of Extreme Bahla got underway, attracting a wide audience and the participation of more than 20 four-wheel drive vehicles set against the valley's striking natural landscape.
I think this is one of the best extremes that we held in our team, and it contains many vehicles, around 23 vehicles with 5 obstacles in rugged areas, in water, and also in mud areas. And it attracts many people from around wilayas of Oman. And we consider this is one of the best tourist activity in Bahla winter.
Engines roared across the rugged terrain as drivers delivered powerful off-road performances, blending skill, precision, and adventure. The challenging setting heightened the sense of excitement, captivating spectators of all ages and turning the event into a scene of energy, suspense, and interaction.
The challenge, it is very, very fun, and it is natural. This is the main point, it is natural. The difference between the first and second and third, we see the more stage in the racer, and the more the water, and with the stone and with the racer people, it is more people they are coming. And we are coming 9 cars from SK 4x4 team. Alhamdulillah, I have some fault. My car, it's the flat tire, but I reached the final.
Beyond competition, Extreme Bahla marked the second activity within the Bahla Winter 2026 program, reflecting growing interest in sports and tourism events across the Wilaya of Bahla and highlighting the role of community-driven initiatives in promoting adventure. With every engine roar, Bahla Extreme turned sport into a community activity that blends entertainment, social interaction and economic activity. Reporting from the Wilaya of Bahla, this is Saleh Bukhalfan al-Rahbi, Al-Dakhiliya, Governorate.
This is the Sultanate of Oman television. Before we end tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. All refineries and petroleum industries records the highest crude oil refining volume last year. Several Palestinians are killed and others wounded by Israeli attacks in a southern Gaza Strip as it continues to violate the ceasefire agreement. And Russia launches a large-scale missile and drone attacks on the Ukrainian capital Kyiv as trilateral talks continue for the second day in Abu Dhabi. With that, we come to the end of tonight's news bulletin. From all of us here at the studio and the newsroom, it's good night and stay safe.